We're in a quaint little-known town nestled in the most beautiful range of the Rockies. This authentic Western town has a story. A collapsing silver market, two devastating fires, the threat of being buried by water were just some of the things that threatened this special place. But Ridgway wouldn't die. With just around 1,000 residents, you'll find the gateway to San Juan Skyway, a 236-mile national scenic and historic byway loop. The end of May to the middle of October, there's a farmer's market in the hub of Ridgway, the town park. We love farmers markets and seem to compare all the ones we visit to this great setup here in Ridgway. The town park is also the location of several events and concerts. It is quintessential small town. In my opinion, every town should have a park like this in its center, a gathering place, if you will. Visible from the town park is the Ranch Museum. Its mission is to preserve Ouray County's ranching history. It's full of stories of the area's early settlers from the mid-1800s to present day. Many of the ranch owners here go back generations. It's a great place to learn about the unique culture of ranching. The town of Ridgway was established in 1891. The mining boom brought settlers to this area, and ranches began popping up. These ranches work the land and help support the mines with cattle and other agricultural needs. The Homestead Act of 1862 encouraged Western migration and offered 160 acres of public land to homesteaders. Occupying and working the land allowed them to then purchase it for a mere $1.25 per acre. This land remains a supply for the nation's beef industry. I love looking at these old license plates. Folks my age can remember the days that you could tell what county someone was from just simply by looking at the letters on the plates. It took me a while to convince the hubs that you were supposed to stick your head through the hole to be part of the class. But being an ex-teacher, it was a no-brainer for me. Also located in the museum is an area dedicated to the railroad. Like many Colorado towns, Ridgway was created by the railroads that passed through to serve the booming mining industry happening here. The town was named after Robert Ridgway, a superintendent to the Southern Railroad Company. The museum also pays homage to two films that helped save the settlement from becoming a ghost town. The 1962 movie How the West Was Won was filmed both in Ridgway and the surrounding mountains.
Morning, ladies. Beautiful morning. Do you by any chance happen to be Miss Lily Prescott?
The 1969 version of True Grit with John Wayne was filmed here too. The town was built up to suit their purposes in filming, and locals were hired for a good wage as extras. This was a memorable experience for me as a kid. We went to the drive-in at a nearby town to watch the movie when it came out, but being young, I fell asleep. Right next door is the Railroad Museum. It's free, but donations are accepted. It's here you can get a free ride on Motor One on Saturdays. You can take a self-guided tour of the artifacts and recreations. Among the items you'll see are cars built between 1880 and 1903. Some of the cars are being restored for future service. One of the most interesting cars was what became known as the Galloping Goose. When the railroad began to struggle, they moved to a cross between a motor truck and a train. These contraptions required less manpower to operate, saving the railroad's money. We're not sure how they got their name, but some thoughts are the motors would heat up climbing the tracks. So to cool off, the driver would release the four-piece hood, leaving the pieces to flap like wings of a goose. Some say it was named because of how it wobbled on the tracks. There were only 7 made. Downtown retains its western mining town charm. There are a number of great little shops and restaurants. In the days when saloons and pool halls were king, Ridgway might have had a bit of a reputation as a naughty little town. Con men were known to fix horse races, and it was said that a mountain lion was tied up behind one of the saloons. Each week it was released for a hunt. Once captured, it was returned for another week of captivity. The Grammy Awards are made here too. The craftsman no longer give tours because he couldn't get his work done. I imagine he's good at keeping a secret. Today the town is going through a resurgence, and it's gradually becoming a hip Colorado town. We grabbed some friends who were running a booth at the farmers market and made our way to the True Grit restaurant. Built in 1985 to honor the memory of the Academy Award-winning movie starring John Wayne, it has excellent grub. The building was built up against the exterior wall of the neighboring building, preserving the facade that was featured in the movie. I have to admit, I'm a big fan of the 1969 version of True Grit, probably because of my connection to the area. My great-grandmother had a contract with Paramount giving them permission to use her house in the movie. Not sure it was ever used. Since we're playing tourists, we decided to take a True Grit tour. These folks know a lot about the filming of the movie and point out several things you might have missed while watching it. Our guides had interviewed several people in the area to gather more stories about the event that helped the town get back on its feet. The tour is free, but feel free to tip the guides. Next, we drove out to Dennis Weaver's Memorial Park. The park was built on 60 acres donated by the late actor's wife. Weaver was best known for his role as Chester on the old Western Gunsmoke. He was also known for his role as Deputy Marshal Sam McLeod in the 70s. We'll talk more about what he was best known for in Ridgway in a moment, but first we want to show you a great path you can walk or ride. This path will eventually link a 65-mile stretch between Delta and Ouray, following the Uncompaghre River. The completed section uses a stretch of a former Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad line. Of course, you don't need to travel the entire distance. The trail links the town of Ridgway to Dennis Weaver Memorial Park, and 5 miles north is Ridgway State Park, one of Colorado's most popular state parks. We did a video on this, and I'll link it in the description below. Remember when I said the town survived a threat of being buried by water? Well, the threat came in the 70s, when the town was a serious contender to be the location of Ridgway Reservoir, which makes up Ridgway State Park. Our engineer finally released the town of that burden when he concluded it needed to be further north. Although Ridgway is a worthy destination, it's only one small piece of a larger picture of what makes this area so spectacular. We've already done videos on Silverjack Reservoir and Elk Creek Pass, which I'll link in the description. Both are less than 30 miles away and worth a day trip. We're going to take you on a drive you haven't seen yet. We'll be driving to the bottom of Loghill, then to Dallas Divide, and toward Last Dollar Road. Like the San Juan Mountains, this area is stunningly beautiful and has a few points of interest worth noting. On our first stop, we'll take a peek at the unique home that Dennis Weaver and his wife built. The home they called Sunridge Earthship was created out of rammed earth, recycled or blemished tires, and cans. It called attention to the use of renewable resources to build homes. Dennis Weaver was an avid environmentalist. It's said that this portion of Colorado was considered to be the location of Rocky Mountain National Park. I found conversations on the internet asking why it's not. Apparently, I'm not alone in thinking that this portion of the Rocky Mountains is more beautiful. Whatever the reason it wasn't chosen, I'm glad we don't have the massive crowds or the timed entry to travel these beautiful roads. Our final stop on this beautiful drive, just minutes from downtown Ridgway, is the house that was in the opening and closing scenes of True Grit.
Which is faster, hot or cold? Hot, because you can catch a cold.